What is up, fellow benchwarmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quickies. Hey guys, midweek, your daily fantasy quickie. My name is JJP with Commish Eric. Commish is sad because Tyrese Haliburton suffered an injury, a knee injury. It wasn't. Well, I didn't see it. Did you see it, Commish?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did it look bad?
I saw well, the good news is it was not a non-contact injury. He drove to the basket, he fell, and I think someone stepped on him, something like that. It's a bad fall, and then someone also stepped on him. So he was able to limp off the court. But of course, it's a bad fall, so it was the elbow and the knee. So Coach Rick Carlisle did say that it's both of those. Those are the problems. He left the arena in crutches, but I don't know if that's just for precaution.
I think that's the most worrying part. That's the part where it had, fantasy managers worried that it could be worse than, KD's injury. He didn't leave with crutches of the arena, right? And that felt like it was bad. It was not good at all. Did it seem like it's worse than that?
It's unlike KD's injury. KD, you could see it clearly, the point of impact, the way it happened. With Tyrese, the angle that I saw was there were players covering the fall, so I didn't see it as clearly. But is it as bad? No, I hope not. I'm maybe I'm biased, but I'm praying it's not. Kyle did say that he was leaving in crutches, just to prevent
not put any pressure, I guess,
something like that. But if he's leaving in crutches, I guess it's not gonna be good.
4 weeks, I think.
Well, hopefully not. Don't say 4 weeks. I'm still hoping that it's nothing. But hopefully 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. Hopefully.
It looks like we jinxed it because we talked about him and James Harden. Him overtaking James Harden.
Yeah.
And you're worried that James Harden might not be healthy towards the end of the season. Well, that has yet, we don't know what's going to happen there, but apparently Tyrese got there first. So who benefits? Now, the question has always been, TJ McConnell is usually the guy that benefits here. But last time Tyrese was out, the rookie, Andrew Nemhard, showed something that excited fantasy managers. But it was pretty much just one game, right? Not really a series of great games. So who do you like more? TJ, Nemhard?
I think the game Nemhard played well. I think that was a game TJ did not play. TJ was out together with Tyrese. So with TJ there, I feel like he could start with Nemhard. Nemhard might be the shooting guard, TJ might be the point guard. Whoever you choose among the two of them is really depends on what you need. If you need assists and steals, I would go TJ. If I own Haliburton, I would probably go with TJ because it's a clearer fit, clearer replacement. Because the assists, you'll lose assists and steals from Tyrese. That's really the big thing. TJ can give you at least, maybe 80% of that. No, so maybe that. But I'm sure the ceiling of Nemhard is higher because he might not get you a lot of assists, but he could get 20 points. He could get different stats. So it depends on what you need.
But that's a challenge. If CJ becomes the starter, the role of Nemhard probably becomes similar to when Tyrese was playing.
Yes.
And given that, the ceiling doesn't look as high If you look at that sample set,
Probably,
right?
probably, yes. That's true.
So yeah, that's something to monitor. But like I agree, I think TJ is the better, more proven ad here. If you want, somewhat of a not non-risky pick, I guess that's the way to go. And then Nemhard would probably be the guy that you get whenever TJ is not available anymore. Speculative though,
If
both.
if I could see them go two ways. They could start TJ for Hali, or they could start Duarte. I know Duarte is not an ad, but they could just start him to keep TJ off the bench, Nemhard TJ, maybe something like that. They could do that, but I do think they will start TJ with Nemhard. And if that is the case, if TJ gets at least 30 minutes a game, hopefully, 8 assists, 1.3, 1.4 steals, that's in play. He can get 3 to 4 rebounds. So it's going to be solid. It's going to be solid. So I did not see TJ being added right away after the injury. You could have waited until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock to add him, and you would still have added him. So I think either people do not see him as the ad, they see Nemhard, or maybe they're thinking that the injury isn't as bad. To be honest, I
Or
still
or
have some,
they don't think they are must ads here.
maybe that also, but because the way Tyrese left the court, it wasn't that bad. He was walking, limping, but not limping really badly or anything. So let's see. But for me, if you own Tyrese Haliburton, I think if Nemhard is owned, you just have to add TJ at this point. Waste a move. Who cares? If it's a wasted move, then good. You should be happy, right? You
Yeah.
should be happy.
Now here's the question for you, because we were talking off air a while ago about losing a player like this, losing a player like KD, losing a player your top picks, right? It's like this is a very crucial part of fantasy season, because it is where you make a push, right? If you're not there in the playoffs, you try to make a push. You push to see what you can do, and losing your first round pick during this time, like if you're seventh, sixth, or even eighth, ninth, right? You're trying to get there to the playoffs, and then you lose your first round pick. What do you do? Do you
I don't know
trade?
actually.
Do you trade your first round pick, to get someone, just to get a player who's going to be available? But of course, you probably might not get a first rounder. Maybe find a buy low option, like maybe, I don't know, a Harden or a Kyrie, maybe.
For me, if your first rounder has a clear cut replacement, the handcuff player, make sure number one you get that player. Because if you think about it, whoever you add from the waiver wire, their value it's just that. If he's like a 50 rated player, it's 50. It's just 50. The only player really with the injury of your first rounder who has improved is like a guy like TJ McConnell, from a 20 maybe becomes 70. So that is the boost that you can take advantage of. So make sure you be able to add that player. That's number one. So actually, if when Halley went out, people who owned Halley should have really rushed to get TJ McConnell, whether he's the ad or not. Just add him. That's very important. Number two, standings. No, you have to look at the standings where you are, and then number three, we have to wait clearly what is the real diagnosis, because you can speculate and everything, but it's hard to say, oh, it's bad, it's bad. Like Tyler Hero's injury looked really bad. It was non-contact, but
Well,
apparently it's an
he hasn't played
but
yet.
but but they haven't said that it's an ACL, or it looked like an ACL. It was classic ACL, but they're saying it's Achilles. And if it's Achilles, if it's a torn Achilles, we've heard about it from by now. We haven't heard anything about it, so it's just maybe a soreness or nothing that serious. I think it might
Mhm.
might leave him out for a week or so, but not the end of the season kind that we all thought. That I thought when I saw the video. So you have to wait for the diagnosis. But okay, let's say diagnosis is 3 to 4 weeks. This is week 13. 3 to 4 weeks is basically the season. No, basically the
Yeah,
season. If
yeah.
you're 3 to 4 games or 5 games out of the playoffs, there's no way you're gonna make the playoffs with your first rounder out. Unless you got lucky with SGA. Yeah, that's the thing. There
But
are
the chances of that
no.
though
I mean,
is like you probably won't be that there at the eighth spot, maybe.
well, it depends. It really depends. You might not have done as good a job of adding, or maybe in your other picks it wasn't as good. But the thing is, if you have that is your first rounder draft wise. But if the performance wise, you have another first rounder like SGA, as I said, or maybe a Laurie, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
Laurie that is a second rounder. So maybe you can withstand it a little. Then that's you could just wait it out. But if you're like 10th or 11th, maybe ninth or whatever, 10th, 11th, 12th, 5, 6 games
No,
away,
if
you have to
you're
make
yeah 5 6 games away, that's a lot. That's hard
that.
to come back from.
Well, that is to answer the question what you should do. By this time, maybe offer a KD or a Tyrese to other managers who are sure of making the playoffs, and then get some player from them, maybe a second rounder, a third rounder, maybe. And for them, it might work because if KD comes back by playoff, they'll have two to three first rounders. They'll be really strong. That's gonna solidify or clinch the championship for them. They would think that way. So for you just want to survive. So that is the thing. I have as I talked to Jeremy, and I have my FBW leagues, and the other teams are all really down a lot of players, and I'm advising this to people, but I honestly have no energy to execute
No,
it.
if you have so many, I have to say, if you have that many leagues, it's really hard to trade players. The best you can really do, you can, but if let's say all of those leagues have, if you have how many Tyrese, you have a lot of Tyrese. If you
Five,
have three,
I
yeah,
think
you
four
see,
or
if you have
five.
five, it's not as easy to find a trade partner for those. But also, not all of them are fringe playoff position, right? Not all of those leagues you are seventh, eighth, or sixth, right? Some you also have to look how many games behind maybe the ninth team is from you. Because if you have some leeway, maybe a week or two, you could afford a 4-5 loss or at worst a 3-6 loss and see how that goes, right? So it's really a case to case basis. But if you are like Commish said, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 games down, that's not gonna be easy
I
if you have your first round out.
I can give an example. My Steph Curry, Paul George FBW team. I mean, that's the auto draft team. When
And
Steph
that's the
went down,
strongest, right?
that was supposed to be the strongest. But Steph went down, Paul George went down. I think somebody else went down. Three or four players went down. What happened there? I didn't plan it, or what happened there was all my ads. I was able to get Thomas Bryant. I was able to get a lot of center from the waivers, and it so happened that it became because Steph went out, my guards became weak. My
Yeah.
3 pointers became weak. And then when I was adding to Von Looney was hot. I added Thomas Bryant was hot. So I was able to add these players that I did not drop anymore because they were playing very well. So then added with some of my own players there. I think I have Miles Turner there and Jarrett Allen. I forgot. I have some bigs there already. Suddenly my team became a rebounds, blocks, field goal team. So that helped me. I did lose majority of the time Steph was out, 4 or 5 5-4,
Yeah.
4-5. So because I was like third or fourth, I'm currently still third, I think, there. And Steph is back. So
So
that
you were
helped.
able to survive it.
I was able to survive, but it helped that I did not get a 1-8, a zero
Yeah.
nine,
That's
a
it.
two
You don't
seven.
if you're
Yeah.
there, you don't just try not to get blown out like a 0-9 or a 1-8. That's a big one, especially to teams that are trying to make the
I tried to
playoffs,
make playoffs, yeah.
right? If
And
you're 8, 6, 7 games ahead of the ninth position and then you lose to that person 2-7, that the lead has been shrunk to just 1 game or 2 game difference.
yes, and again, this is something case by case, no? With Steph, I was not able to get Dante and the others. I was not able to get that. It's not it's counterproductive to just look for 3 pointers, points, assists from the waiver to replace him. I'm not gonna find anybody there. So shifting to rebounds, blocks, and everything, I was able to concentrate on those. No, instead, so when I add when I add, after seeing that, when I don't add players like let's say Seth Curry is hot. I won't add him because it's useless for me. My strategy at that point was just really rebounds, field goals, turnovers, blocks. That was just my strategy. So all my ads from then on, every week, whoever my opponent is, was just really who's hot among the
Yeah.
bigs, and then try to concentrate on those. Even if there's a hot guard, Jalen Noel or whoever, I won't add them because they are hot, but they could easily give you 4 out of 15. Let's say Dwayne Washington, I won't add him because it's not part of my strategy anymore. But if Steph is healthy, adding Dwayne Washington makes sense.
Yeah.
Helps your 3 pointer. So it changes that your strategy, your ads will change based on the your team, the makeup, and the new team, without the first rounder, the new team,
Yeah.
how it looks.
Yeah. So that's for the guys who are at the bottom. If you're at the top, though, do you recommend trying to buy into these
Yeah,
players, like
yeah,
buying low on these injured guys? Is it
yeah.
now? Is now the right time, or do you have to wait until maybe a couple more
If
weeks?
you have to pounce early. If you wait for 2 more weeks, the manager would have said, "Just I waited 2 weeks. What's 2 weeks more? Just wait." I've experienced that. So you have to pounce early, maybe even just a week after the injury, a couple of days after the injury. You have to pounce, you have to offer already. But you have to be careful. Don't overestimate your lead. Like if you're like second, I'm second. But if you're all close, like me, as I said, just 2 weeks from number one, I went to number 10 because I
Mm-hmm.
had a 1-7 and 1-8. So don't overestimate your lead also. Just be sure that you're really safe enough and you have a strong enough team to carry that player. But if you do really have it, yes, I would recommend. Let's say KD. I already know what KD's injury is. I think 4 weeks is 4 weeks. He's gonna be back. If you can get him for, I don't know, Zach Levine, maybe. I don't know who. Somebody lower, really way lower, like third round, fourth round. Yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move.
Yeah. So those are some of the strategies you can do. There's really not much that went on today other than that Tyrese
Injuries.
injuries. Lots of them, but nothing as major as Tyrese, I guess. But it's annoying to that's another thing during this type of the frustration in these times wherein you lose your top player and then the other guys don't play. Aiton didn't play again.
Aiton, KP,
Kristaps
wait,
didn't play.
Kristaps, Miles Turner.
Miles Turner didn't play. That was a late scratch too.
That's a late scratch. Yeah.
Who else? A lot of
Well,
the guys
well,
didn't play.
KPJ got injured in the first quarter. I think that's outside of Haliburton. That's the second biggest injury today. He usually plays through injuries, so the fact that he could not come back makes me worried. Also, doesn't look as bad as Haliburton's, but he could miss some time. So that's another concern. And then maybe the biggest concern
Actually,
here,
Anthony Edwards also
yeah,
left the game after 9 minutes, but when I
came
checked
back.
towards the end, he came back and played around 20 something minutes.
He came back. He came back. He was ruled out, but he came back. And then there was even a controversy of him saying that he wanted to come back, and then the media felt that he said he wanted to come back because he doesn't trust his teammates that they will be able to win, something like that, something like that. But I don't know. I didn't see the interview, but he did come back. He's trying to play through it, which is not doing his stats any help. He's
Yeah,
not playing as well as before. Well, obviously, he's hurt, but hopefully it doesn't turn into something worse. That's just
yeah,
the concern with Darius Garland's thumb, with this hip issue of Edwards. At least they're trying to play through it. Hopefully it doesn't get worse and then it improves. But for a guy like Kyle Lowry, we've got a lot of questions about Kyle Lowry. He's out again. He was dropped in one of our FPW leagues. I'm thinking of whether I'm adding him or not because I do feel like he's droppable. I do feel like he's droppable. He's really struggled already the past few games. Now that I don't know what's wrong with him again. There's no clear injury. Yeah, if
and
you really
if
can't hold, maybe you can drop also.
yeah, if there's no, also you have to also see who you're picking up. I guess
I
I don't
guess
know. Depends on who
Well,
you. That's how I think about it all the time. Like if I'm gonna drop there, like maybe Kyle Lowry potentially could still be good. Not of course, obviously won't be as good as maybe what you expect, right? Because he's already struggled, but uh, potentially he could have some good games here and there. I still have to think whether the player I'm gonna replace him with is
I,
worth it.
I would say like a guy like Nemhard, if he was available, I would do that switch. Now there are teams that do these things. Like me, I have 4 or 5 injured players. If one of those injured players is Kelly Olynyk or Herb Jones,
Yeah,
it kind of makes it
it
makes you
makes
think.
it easier to drop them, right? Like if
Yeah,
you're especially if you're desperate. Like I have
yeah.
some teams wherein I have I'm at the seventh, eighth, sixth spot, right? Or even at the 10th spot wherein I'm 5 games behind. If I get into a situation where there's lots of injuries there, I might drop a player that I usually won't drop, just to
Yes,
survive. Just to
yes.
survive. I think I did that a few days ago, but I just couldn't remember which player I dropped. He was injured, but I just couldn't remember who that was. But yeah, because I was 10th there and I was like 5 games behind. And then I
Another
had
player.
and then I had some regret thinking I should
Well,
have just traded this guy. He might have had some trade value, even if it's not as
for for
much.
for now, I guess the players who are at the border there is Kyle Lowry and Herb Jones. I think Kelly Olynyk also. These three. Colin Sexton has been dropped in some leagues. I think he's droppable. The Sexton levels, don't even think about it. If you don't have an IL available, just drop them. And then Devin Vassell. I haven't seen Devin Vassell a lot,
Vassell,
but if
Vassell, Vassell is the guy I dropped
yeah,
in a
yes,
league.
yeah. So I have Booker, Vassell. Now I have, I think, 2 or 3 more. I think I have Kelly Olynyk in that league, and I also have, if I'm not mistaken, Tyrese. So now that Tyrese got injured, if it's gonna be a long term injury, Vassell would be a drop now because I would not have a spot
Yeah,
for.
that's the guy I dropped. But looking back, I thought I should have just tried to trade him to someone who might be willing to take him.
Maybe try, but I don't know if someone will bite. But
You
maybe,
know,
yes.
you know another reason why I dropped him is because I saw him being dropped in maybe 2 FBW leagues. Although after that I didn't see him already, so maybe someone picked them up. But thinking when I saw that, I just felt like he might just be droppable if you really need that roster spot.
But someone who picked him up, you would see. You have to check who did they drop to pick him up, because
Yeah,
maybe that's only the player they are willing to give for him. Which, to be honest, probably is just a waiver wire player anyway.
yeah,
So it's not really a big deal for me. I don't really see Vassell being any more of a game changer this season. He's not Chris Paul coming back like last season when Chris Paul came back. Vassell is good, but he's not that of a big deal. So if you really need to drop him, you can drop him.
yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a quick, maybe not really a player per player discussion, but more of a discussion on, strategies and what you can do if you are in certain situations that we talked about. I think at this point, week 13, those are crucial conversations to discuss because those are crucial things to discuss because um, it's that time where you don't have time to catch up. You don't have time to waste, and then something like this happens, an injury or two happens. That's a big deal. From maybe a 4-5-4 win, you get to a 3-6 or a 2-7. That's a big turnaround for you, and that's going to be a challenge to come back from, especially if you're in the bottom part of the standings. All right, that's it for today's quickie. Hope that helped. And as always, we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Please follow us, share the video, share the post, share the Twitter post that I do for these episodes so that we can reach out to more fantasy managers. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our socials, Twitter, Facebook, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.